What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got the boys at WeCricket with their own podcast, the Golden Ducks. Ashes debate. England humiliated and Australia retained the Ashes. Now, well, it says, how did it go so wrong? Well, you only have to look as far as the top batting order, other than, of course, Alan DeGeneres. But hey, if you guys are new, subscribe. Of course, I assume you guys know who these guys are. Absolute legends of the cricket community on YouTube. If you don't, original link, of course, in the description. But hey, you know, I'm not going to do a lot of pausing. I kind of just want to sit here, have a listen, and if I think there's something that I want to chime in about, I'll do so. But hey, let's check it out. Oh shit, let's turn that down. All right.
Bloody hell. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ducks podcast, 54 Ducks podcast, powered by Parry Match.
Whoa. Hey, go and get the sponsor. Unless they're sponsoring me, no free shout out. Apologies.
Welcome back,
go.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Can I start with some stats?
Yeah, if you like.
So England have equalled their most losses in a calendar year.
Yes.
Of the most, it's equal with Bangladesh. It's
Inspirational.
9.
So that's impressive.
Yeah.
The MCG test, the one that we've just watched. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Vaguely.
a whirlwind, but yeah, go on.
1,084 deliveries it lasted.
Woo!
Which is the shortest in Australia for 70 years.
Okay.
We've had 54 ducks, as I mentioned in the intro, in a year, which is equal again for England. They did it in 1988 or something. Yeah. That's 13 consecutive tests without a win in Australia. 27.4 overs is England's shortest batting innings in the Ashes since 1905.
Oh, jeez.
England lost 20 wickets for under 300. 20 for under 300, right?
Yeah.
It's not
That's
great.
the third time they've done that this year.
Oh, wow.
And one that I just cannot believe, Scott Boland got 6 for 7. And that's my Ashes kind of stat roundup. He's a good bowler. But bloody hell, and I tweeted at the time, we do make everybody that turns out in these Ashes series look fucking good, don't we?
Yeah, like, all due respect to the man Scotty Boland. I love Scott Boland. I've been saying he should play a test match. He should debut for so long. But 6 for 7? I mean, England. Jesus.
Made Mitch Marsh look good
in the Ashes daily thing afterwards. Mark Ramprakash was saying about the fact that when he goes off and talks to kind of county pros now, all he hears about is batsmen terrified of the fact they're going to have their front pad blown off by some bloke that bowls kind of 75 to 80 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So you'd have thought that we'd be pretty well practiced to playing against someone like Scott Boland, wouldn't you?
You'd think so.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But then again, we still find a way of completely cocking it up. But what I thought was quite nice, to be honest with you, the 68 all out this morning was just I think that, to be honest, is the perfect cherry to put on the England cricket cake that's been in the oven of disappointment for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Like let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kind of pretend that this is a 3-match issue that England have just struggled in Australia. This has been an absolute turd show for the last 4 years since we were last in Australia.
Yeah.
Probably before then as well. A few glimmers with the away win.
I mean, probably when we were in England and we retained the Ashes in England, that's as far as I can remember, you know. England, I mean, gee whiz, you got to step up, lads.
A nice little test win in India.
Africa.
Joe Root's doing okay.
Yeah.
South Africa as well.
A bit further,
There's been a few little bits, isn't there? Zach Crawley's 267. Yeah. There's been just
Ollie
smidgens
Robinson is a
of
highlight.
Things, but we can't bat. We haven't been able to bat for years. Nope. What we found is obviously we've got Anderson and Broad that have bailed us out time and time again.
And time.
Those two are aging. Obviously, I still think our selection things have probably been wrong with those two, but I can't really be bothered to talk about that anyway.
No.
But we can't bat. We haven't been able to bat for years. It's utterly ridiculous. And as I said, the 68 all out, I genuinely think is the perfect cherry just to put on the top of that really crappy cake that the ECB have been baking. I just think it perfectly sums it all up. Just to lose the Ashes. 3-0, humiliation, 68 all out, perfect, job done. Just chuck it in the bin and start again.
Yeah, it really, There's nothing else to say, is there? Because they've well, I don't even know what to say now. I genuinely don't. And I think you've summed it up pretty well there, to be honest. Like, we obviously we weren't that kind of optimistic about this series, were we? I don't think.
No.
As most people weren't, most England fans weren't. But to lose it in the way that it
12
we have
days
and be so far behind. Australia have been good. They bowl well. They got some phenomenal bowlers, and obviously Marnus and Smith and Warner's found form, and Head's come in and done a good job. And even Harris in this test. I mean, it was tough batting on that pitch, and he scored 70 odd.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I genuinely, and I know we've been shit all year, and I know it's been bad, and like you say, we can't bat. But this really has been, like, it surprised me just how bad it could get, really, for a team, in any sport, really. Like, it has been so bad. And like you say, last night was just like the finishing off, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I do want to give a little bit of sympathy to England. If you guys, watched my my day 3 review after the third test match and after Australia had, of course, retained the Ashes after the MCG test, I expressed my heartfelt sorry for England. They've had it tough coming over here. Obviously, not the greatest England lineup to ever come to Australia, that's for goddamn sure. But to, all the ISOs, I can't say the exact words, otherwise YouTube likes to demonetize and ban and remove and whatever. But the lockdowns, they're just staying in the bubbles and stuff like that. It wouldn't be easy. And they've had countless people around their camp to have positives, and it wouldn't be easy. I'm sure they all just want to say, look, boys, I'm packing up. We're getting the fuck out of Australia. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. I wouldn't blame them. I think their contracts would not allow that, but gee, I feel for England and their fans, because they're staying up till probably like 3 or 4, 5 a.m. to watch them get bowled out for 67. I mean, that's sports depression, and that is mental abuse. That is just not great.
Yeah, it really felt like it. I think I said yesterday I wouldn't be at all surprised if we lost this by an innings. And they've done exactly
267 that. Runs, mate, in the first innings. They won by an innings. They scored 260. 260.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
No, it's not great.
And the other frustration as well is I could forgive a sports team for being rubbish.
Yeah.
I can. I support Portsmouth, for Christ's sake. Like, I've supported them through their literal points where they had new players each week and they were utterly garbage.
Oh, yeah.
But they tried. And I've got immense respect for people that give you the impression, at least, that they've given quite literally everything they possibly can out there. And I don't know with this with this batting lineup what we've had, I just don't ever get that impression. I really don't. And I'm not saying they're getting out on purpose. And I'm not saying that they're not trying in the nets. I'm not saying that they're kind of being offered net sessions and they're going, actually, I can't be arsed. I'd rather play on my PlayStation. I'm not going nets tonight, Mum. I'd rather have my lasagna at home. I don't want to heat it up later. What I'm saying is like the nature of it, where it's, I think you put a tweet out, it's like, well, I'll leave 3, I'll block 2, and stuff it. Well, I'm a bit bored now. No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
It's that application, it's that want and that desire and that effort and that kind of commitment that you want as a layman watching these elite athletes, the best that England have got to offer.
Apparently, yeah.
And no one's learning from any mistakes. And you just don't get the impression. So they're like working in your supermarket and going, well, I'll take the milk to the milk cupboard or whatever you call it in a supermarket. I'm not going to put it in it, though. I'll just leave it next to it because it's good enough, isn't it?
No, like, what it is, mate, is it's like you got 6 of the buggers and you take 3 of them. Well, no, you got 60 of the buggers and you take 3 of them and then you just leave the other 57 there and don't bother with them. It's it's painful. It really is.
Right, last pause of the video. I know I say it, but last pause of the video. I had a look the other week at their county championship stats in England. Who were the top run scorers, the top wicket takers, who was in form before they decided what the squad would be coming to Australia. Most of these, like Burns, fucking Crawley, Hamid was in the top 5 run scorers for the season, but Burns was like top 15. Crawley was, I think, top 10, which is, I guess, okay. But, I mean, all the guys who scored all of these runs, I know in England conditions it's different, but you just give a guy who's got confidence and form from county cricket in England, why are they not here with the squad? That's what I don't understand about England. And there's these guys that I've never heard of, sure, but, gee, they've got to be better than Rory bloody Burns, I tell you. Press play, please.
We never do well in Australia, but this just feels like the worst tour ever, really. And it just, after that first ball, after the first test, it just felt like it was just going to be a really horrible one. Just with the things that people were saying, the decisions England were making, the performances on the field, which have clearly been shocking.
Rubbish.
And then you get the coach coming out going, oh, no, there is positives to take from this.
Where?
And you're like, well, no, there isn't, mate. There's nothing. You cannot take it. You've been bowled out for 68. Was it 68? 60 something. Doesn't matter. on day 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Not even half, was it?
No, day 2 and an hour.
Yeah.
2 days and an hour.
There are two positives to take out of this, but there's two positives that we knew already. Joe Root can bat.
Yep. And Anderson can bowl.
Anderson can bowl. But
Hey, and so can Ollie Robinson. I'll say that. I've been super impressed. You know, I remember I watched him against India early in the series in 2021. You know, he has impressed me here on Australian soil as well.
The right thing to say.
Years ago.
Good.
When you've been bundled out and beaten by an innings
equally,
when they've only
really
scored
know
260.
whether it's the right thing to go out in the press and kind of... I don't really know what the right thing to do is. I'm not convinced there is a right thing to say after you get rolled for 68 and lose by an innings.
I put a tweet out and put, you know, if you had to choose one reason why England are so bad, what would it be? Yeah. And you can imagine the responses.
Batting.
The county championship, the hundreds.
Yeah. We will talk about this probably in more depth on the audio stuff, won't we, I'd imagine, when we unpick it and maybe another YouTube video. But what do you think, what would you say is there for that? Ooh. What is your opinion
could get
on
interesting.
That? It's not an easy question.
It's not, and I don't really know whether there's an easy answer. I mean, I genuinely...
No, there isn't,
the sad thing is, I think they're probably the best batters on paper that we've got.
Do you really think that?
I think so.
I don't know whether that's true. Because I don't think Crawley is.
I think that kind of entire squad, I think they're probably the best that we've got to offer, and I think that's probably
David Malan
and Downing-Sitch.
He's been all right.
Tell me, go on. Who are you picking in?
I don't know the names. This is the
problem, isn't it? It's so easy, and I'm not having a pop at you here, but it's
and I don't care if you are having a pop at me.
Take to Twitter and social media and say that all this, that, and the other, and they shouldn't. But actually, we don't know anything about these other lads, really. Yeah. I mean, Ben Foakes is a classic name to kind of bring back into that conversation, and Joe Denley as well. Yeah, all right. They might make it marginally better. Are they going to make it any worse? No. Are they going to make it significantly better? No, they're not.
James
we're
Vince
not
going
to bring in one player and suddenly become a world-beating Test team again. We're just not going to do that. And Ben Foakes, I really like him. I think he's a terrific wicketkeeper. But from what we've seen of the bat with him, he scored 100.
Quality
he's had limited opportunities. I will concede that. But I don't think he's not going to be the Messiah, is he?
No.
Like, he isn't going to come in and save this.
Not.
I think the batters that we've got, I think they're probably the best ones that we have available to us, technique, ability wise.
You're probably right.
However, what I think the problem is I don't necessarily think, and I think there's a fair argument for this, is I think we could probably pick worse batters that have a better temperament than the ones that we've got here.
Yep.
I think that might be the situation, but I don't know how you suddenly decide that. I don't know how you suddenly give a lad who, obviously, let's use Ollie Pope for an example, has the best county championship record amongst anybody. Like, we pick the best bloke we possibly can out of our domestic structure, and he hasn't got the temperament at the moment to go out there and be successful in Test cricket. So I don't know how you go about selecting a bloke who maybe averages 15 less, 20 less than Ollie Pope, and deciding that person might have a better temperament, because I think that person exists. I just don't know who that person is.
No, that's the thing. There must be as well. Like, I mean, Crawley, when he first came into the team, was kind of criticised for having quite a poor county record, and they were trying to do what they did with Trescothick, which seems a little bit of a joke, really. But it's kind of just trying to fudge players into a role that is, it's worked before, so we'll try it again. But
yeah, pretty much.
I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think that has always been the issue as well when we've spoken about England. It's like, we don't really know what the answer is, and that's kind of been the issue for ages. But the county championship thing is an issue every time we play cricket, really, is there? And when we don't do very well, which for England at the moment is quite a regular thing.
There's a hell of a lot of county championship experts, considering no one turns up and watches the thing.
No, there is, yeah. And I think, like, it is...
That goes for the Sheffield Shield in Australia. You know, no one goes to watch, 4-day cricket at the MCG in a stadium with 0 people in there. But, obviously it's good that you can watch from home on live streams and stuff like that. But Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's next for England. They're in danger.
I don't like digging it out, but it definitely doesn't prepare people in the right way. Because I mean, the players that we picked that are the best out of the certainly at the time. I mean, Burns was churning runs out, Sibley was churning runs out. Mm-hmm. Like you say, Pope as well. Bairstow, when he first got picked up, I know it was like in a mixture of ODI stuff as well.
Yep.
But he was scoring a lot of runs for Yorkshire, wasn't he, back in the day before when he made it into the England team. So
I like Bairstow.
Like we picked these guys on the fact that they've scored a load of runs in that particular competition, and yeah, it hasn't really gone well. But I do slightly disagree with the fact that there isn't somebody that might be slightly better than a bloke who averages 32 in county cricket with Zach Crawley, but especially when he averages 10. Like, I've got no idea why he's there, but I don't even think he made 10 in this set match, did he? I think he averaged about 8.
I think he made 7 and 6.
Which is quite funny.
It's not even worth.
Well batted. What the hell they do for the next 2 tests, I haven't got a clue.
I don't think it matters, mate.
No, it doesn't. But
really
like,
don't.
what do you do?
The only thing I genuinely hope that we play them both. I can't be bothered to kind of get away with this and potentially having positive COVID tests where we end up being able to just to sling in another excuse that maybe just kind of softens the blow. Like I'd be quite happy now just to lose this series 5-0.
You stick with
if that's the spark there that's required to really kind of make some proper wholesale changes. I don't necessarily know whether having some kind of investigatory report into this stuff really makes a blind bit of difference. It feels like you just end up paying some random company just to kind of let you know what everybody that's watched it could tell you anyway.
What do you want at the end of the series, though?
I'd be quite happy to lose it 5-0, but I want to play all of it. I don't want that kind of, unlucky lads, we've had a couple of positive COVID tests, we can't play the 4th and 5th one, so we better clear off home. Well, actually, we only lost it 3-0. Wasn't too bad in the end, was it? It could have been worse. You know what I mean? Like there could be that kind of positive spin to it, and I don't want that. I want them out there, and I want them to suffer through it, and I want to find out whether these blokes and these players that we've got, and similar to why I wouldn't have dropped Burns and Pope in the first place, I want to find out what their metal's made of.
Agreed.
Like this is it. This is balls to the wall. This is sink or swim time. Yeah. And if these blokes go out there and they sink, that's fine. But I don't want to see them back again for a while.
Oh mate, they're already sunk. They're gone.
They've got an opportunity because they've got 10 days of Test cricket left. Yeah. They have.
No, I don't think it. Yeah, but you just said it doesn't matter.
But they've got 10 days of Test cricket left.
Hey, I mean, we go into this 4th test. I'm recording this one day before the SCG test, the 4th test. It's obviously known as quite a spinning deck, potentially. We always say that, but never really happens. I think England, Ollie Pope should have never been dropped. Yeah, but no one has made runs except for Root and maybe Milan and Butler this entire series for England. So I think I would have kept Pope. Burns, you guys know how I feel about Rory Burns. He is just pure garbage. I want him to do well. I genuinely think he's okay, but gee whiz. I guess you keep Crawley, and Hamid is... you guys know I'm a fan of Hamid. I want him... I think he's class. I think he can make runs and hundreds. But gee, he hasn't looked like it. And I think they're right. You got 10 days of cricket left. You say to the boys, look, you can either go... If I'm their coach, or even though he's going to be isolating now, so their stepping coach, whatever... Even Joe Root, you've just got to say to the boys, you either fucking stand up and you just put your heart on the line out there. And if you go out for 30 runs, is 30 great? Not really, but it's better than what you've been doing. But it's like their heart isn't in it. And it reminds me of when Australia, we lost Warner and Bancroft and obviously Smith. We're not going to talk about that because I'll start crying. But that little period where India came and beat us on home soil, decimated us. And I remember, we had Finch in the top order opening. We had all these weird changes and we just thought, when is this pain going to end? But our heart was still in it. When we were able to win that Perth test match, I remember in 2018, I think it was, 2019. And you just, heart and just belief can do it, and I haven't seen much of that from the Englishmen top order at least. So yeah, I don't think any changes will make a difference. I think they go in with what they've got. You say to the boys, you go out there, you either embarrass yourself or you show that you deserve to be on this tour. I mean,
if we lose 5-0, they've completely sunk. We could And we could see, and all right, you could argue that doesn't matter. Of course you could, because I have just said that. But Hamid could go out there and score a couple of hundreds in the last two Test matches.
Where's
I know
that
sounds
from?
Utterly ridiculous. No, I don't know where it's coming from.
But
what I'm saying is I'm fed up of this kind of, we'll give them 2 Test matches and we'll pull them out the firing line.
Yeah.
Or we'll give them 3 Test matches and we'll pull them out the firing line. We're doing exactly the same as what we used to do with Stoneman and Live and Vince and the players like that, where we used to give them 6 Test matches and then kick them out and never see them again. All we're doing with these blokes is we're just shortening that down a bit, so we never actually get to that stage where we never know whether they're totally useless or not. And
we've
tried
both
them
now,
back.
to be fair.
We just keep bringing them back.
We've tried the ditching them after 6, and we tried playing them for 30, and none of them seem to work. So I don't know if it makes a blind bit of difference, really, when you haven't got good players. But yeah, no, you do need to give them a chance. But
yeah, congratulations, Australia, though. I mean,
well played.
They've been solid, haven't they?
I wouldn't play Cummins. He didn't get any wickets in the second.
He's rubbish, isn't he?
Yeah,
he
is
rubbish. I think they've been brilliant.
No, they have.
It's similar to what we said the other day. I don't know how brilliant you've got to beat this lot, but they have.
I mean, that bowling last night, I watched that back. It was ridiculous. I mean, Stark has been the best player in the series, I think.
He's been pretty good.
By miles, I would say.
He's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And for a bloke who was getting kind of criticised and said he shouldn't be in the team, to bounce back the way he has, he averages 50 with the bat, leading wicket taker in the series, and setting the tone at the start of the innings, which is so important. High pace, swinging it, control. That's been the most impressive thing for me, I think, is the control that he's bowled with. Because I think a lot of the criticism for him as well has been he's not been the most accurate. He's been effective at times in his Test career and taken a lot of wickets, but the accuracy hasn't always been there. But I think in this series, it's been the best that I've seen him bowl, I think, ever in his career. I think he's been not Mitch Johnson level, is it? It's not like scary, but it's very, very good. Always there, and they just don't give you a chance, really, do they? These bowlers.
No, I mean, did I or did I not say that Mitch Stark would be the guy that I would be fearful of?
You did. You also said that he wasn't a very good red ball bowler. So
I don't think I said that.
No, I could find that very quickly.
Okay, fair enough.
You said it at least twice, but I mean, we say things. I mean, I've said things that have been wrong, so you're not the only one.
I say things that are wrong daily, so don't be too harsh on yourself.
I mean, he's in charge of England, so anything can happen, really.
Yeah, true. Anything's possible.
Get your name in the hat for the next Ashes series.
Sling it in.
Wow. Anything else to add? I mean, Australia.
Not really.
We could talk about Australia for a little bit, but Boland on debut. I mean, what an absolute dream debut that was.
Yeah.
Wickets.
Scotty
galore. 6 for 7. Really?
In 4 overs.
Humiliated England. Done and dusted. And I don't really care what happens in the last 2. Yeah, it'd be nice to see somebody do something good. Of course it would. But it's too little too late. Too little too late. And the one thing I will say, England left their best day of the series. Their best day. And okay, they fucked it at the end, so it wasn't even that good of a day because they got bowled out for... they lost 4 wickets.
Is that the
in the 3rd test on day 2, they waited that long to play all right. And it's no surprise we're 3-0 down and it's gone.
Hey, what the heck? All right, I guess it's gone on to an ad now. Oh boy. Hey, it's gone on to a video that I was going to react to it in the future. All right, exposed. But hey, shout out to the boys. Of course, original link in the description. Yeah, I mean, just quietly, what happens? Do I think this will happen? No, but what happens if England win a Test match? Hamid comes out, makes 150. Let's pick a bowler. Mark Wood takes, let's go. Jimmy Anderson takes 7 for in this SCG Test. The chances of that happening seem quite minuscule at the moment. But what happens if England win a Test match or they draw a Test match and you start thinking, yes, they're 3-0 down. Yes, they've been poor as dog shit, but I know it sucks. And I don't know. No one knows what the solution is for this England side because they've got their best players available that they've got just aren't cutting up to the job except for Alan DeGeneres, a.k.a. Joe Root. So, I don't know. I don't know what's next for England. I feel for them. I honestly feel for them because as an Australian, when we've had our tough moments, it sucks. It sucks, especially for Test match cricket when you're expecting at least 4 to 5 days and you're getting bowled out in 2.5 days. It's rough. It's really rough. But hey, shout out to the boys for fronting up and giving their opinions. Hey, that is going to cap it off, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.